Coming up in this episode. Hey guys, welcome back to Retro Bits. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at what's changed in the world of the MiSTer FPGA since the last time we looked in December of 2020. If you're just joining us, or are new to the MiSTer, I've previously covered how to build and configure the hardware, as well as some of the pros and cons of FPGA-based emulation, or implementation if you prefer. I'll put a link to it in the description, so feel free to check it out if you haven't already. First things first, if you've been part of the MiSTer community for a while, you're likely familiar with the retro-driven updater. This script was the go-to utility for keeping your cores and ROM files up to date. A while back, the maintainer announced he was stepping away from the project due to a new baby on the way. We wish retro-driven well and thank him for all his hard work. To fill the vacuum left behind, a new project has emerged called Update All. When executed, this script will automatically download and update each of the MiSTer's cores, including the official releases as well as unofficial and Hotego cores. It'll also download BIOS files for each available system, as well as ROMs for every supported arcade game. Installation couldn't be easier. First, download the zip file from the Update All GitHub page using the link in the description. Next, unzip the file. Last, SFTP it over to the scripts directory on your MiSTer's SD card. That's it! Now you're ready to update all. On the MiSTer, navigate to the System settings and find the Scripts menu. Locate Update All and run it. At this point, it will present you with the option of pressing up to enter settings or continuing with the defaults. The menu will allow you to decide what you want to have installed, but the defaults are generally pretty good. Once you start the update, it will take a while, especially if you've never updated before. As I mentioned, the script not only updates all of the cores, but downloads BIOS and ROM files from archive.org for every supported arcade game. Not only that, but it organizes the games in alphabetical groupings and also by genre, making it easy to locate specific titles without having to hunt through a list of everything. Once the update completes, you should have all the latest cores and supported arcade games. New stuff is released every week, so update often. The Capcom Play System 1 was introduced in 1988 as a modular 16-bit arcade platform. Featuring the Motorola 68000 CPU running at 10 MHz and a Zilog Z80 for sound management, the CPS 1 eventually amassed a library of 33 titles, including such well-known names as Ghouls and Ghosts and Street Fighter II. The hardware can display 65,000 colors, with 4,096 on-screen and 256 sprites per scan line. On the MiSTer, the CPS 1 core was developed and released by Jose Tejada, also known as Hotego, a legendary developer in the community. Recently, he released the first public CPS 1.5 core. Also known as Dash, 1.5 featured some improvements such as a faster CPU and Q-Sound 3D positional audio. The original hardware also implemented what became known as the suicide battery that rendered the original game code inoperable when the voltage was interrupted or dropped below a certain threshold. Now, I've never really been into beat-em-ups, with the possible exception of Double Dragon, but the Capcom titles available on the CPS 1.5 core are certainly worth a look. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs has everything. Dystopian future full of street thugs? Check. Dinosaurs? Sure, why not? Ridiculous plot and dialogue? Yes, please. Heck, even the continue screen is a masterpiece. Anyway, if you're a fan of the genre, there are some great titles here to try. The accuracy of the core is impressive, with Otego having purchased a test harness to measure latency and make continuous improvements based on the results. Most recently, CPS core accuracy was measured at only 0.08% off the original hardware. The core sound quality is also fantastic. While it may not come through in this video, the Q-Sound audio is used to create effect, adding real depth when listening on proper speakers. Further, the musical score and titles such as The Punisher are some of the best I've heard from this period. Thanks to Jose for his tireless efforts on the CPS cores, as well as many others. You can support him on Patreon and also gain access to beta releases before they go public. In a previous episode, CR Teaser 97 asked for a guide on setting up the TurboGrafx-16 core for CD games, so here it is. To start, you'll need two things. The first is the Japanese Super CD version 3.0 ROM. Rename the file to cd_bios.rom. Second, you'll need a game CD image in BinQ or IMG format. Now, connect to your MiSTer with SFTP and navigate to the Games directory on your SD card. Here, create a new directory called TGFX16-CD, all in caps. Inside your new directory, create a new subdirectory for each CD game you have. Finally, upload the ROM files and the CD image into this new directory.
In der guten alten Zeit lebten die Menschen noch ruhig.
So I've never used a real TurboGrafx before, and this system is completely new to me, CD or otherwise. There's a surprising number of disc titles available, but most seem to be from the Japanese market, which stands to reason as the system was not a commercial success in North America. Many of the games are basically interactive stories in an anime style, using short animated sequences, but not full motion video. Others seem to be standard games enhanced with digital audio soundtracks. A new core for Cave Interactive's first-generation hardware was released back in January, developed by Josh Bassett. Like the CPS-1, Cave 68K is a multi-game platform based around the Motorola 68000 and Zilog Z80 CPUs. 19 games were released for the system, with DoDonPachi being the first to make its way onto the MiSTer.
Atlas. Presented by Cave. Select your battle fighter. Okay, the countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
Bullet hell shoot-'em-ups are another genre I have little experience with, and it shows. That being said, DoDonPachi is a visual feast for the eyes and a blast to play, especially in the easy earlier stages. It does get significantly more difficult as you progress further into the game though. At least credits are free on the MiSTer. I wasn't able to get the game to display anything on my CRT, but I've seen others who have, so I know it's possible. Some users have reported a problem with the core locking up during startup, myself included. A patched version is available outside of the official release channels that largely fix the problem for me though.
Mission starts now. Are you ready?
The Sinclair ZX Spectrum was released in the UK in 1982 as a successor to the ZX80 and 81. It featured a Z80 CPU, 16 or 48K of RAM, 32-column text, and bitmap graphics with a palette of 15 colors. With its cost-controlled hardware and budget entry price, the system was a huge success, eventually selling over 5 million units and inspiring many clones. For many, the Sinclair was their gateway into home computing, and its importance can't be overstated. Here in North America, the machine was repackaged as the Timex Sinclair 2068, but was largely incompatible with existing Spectrum software. The system sold poorly, and as a result had little impact on the computer culture on this side of the pond. The ZX Spectrum Next is a modern reinterpretation that's fully compatible with the original hardware, but offers new graphic modes, faster processor speeds, and mass storage. It uses an FPGA to implement a Z80 with speeds up to 28 MHz, 2.5 MB of RAM, 256 colors, hardware sprites, stereo audio with 9 channels of sound, a modern operating system, and much more. Basically, what the Ultimate 64 is to the Commodore, the Next is to the Sinclair. Presently, the Next is only available via limited release Kickstarter campaigns, so having a MiSTer core available right now gives everyone an opportunity to try it out, though at just £175, the real machine is a bargain. The Next core allows you to boot up in many different hardware configurations, enabling you to run period-correct software the way it was originally intended. So those were a few examples of the Next core running classic Spectrum software. Now, let's take a look at a few modern releases that take advantage of the Next's enhanced capabilities. A brand new Atari Lynx core was just released to the public a few days before making this video. It claims to support all official game titles and most homebrew as well. Not only does this core have save states, a rarity with the MiSTer, but it also offers a fast forward and rewind feature allowing you to go back in time up to 80 seconds.
Good luck. You have completed level 6.
One of the great things about the MiSTer community is the number of talented developers working on this open source project and the steady stream of new releases being announced. Here are just a few of the latest arcade cores that have come out recently.
Warrior now has extra speed. Oh.
Wow, that's a lot of new stuff for the MiSTer, and there's even more we didn't get to cover this time around. If you like this format or have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this episode, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time on Retro Bits.